Hello, and welcome to the Frivolous and Frugal Knitting Podcast. We're a knitting podcast of two sisters who share our fondness for knitting, the things that we create, and the knitting community that we love. And we do it all with a sweet twist of both the frivolous and frugal. I'm Dawn. I am the frivolous one, and in birth order, I am the fourth of eight.
And I'm Penny, and I am the frugal one, and I am the oldest of the eight. We just have a heartfelt welcome to send out to our returning viewers. Thank you so much for making time to watch the podcast. And it's our hope that you glean a nugget or two from each episode that you can apply to your knitting. And for those of you who are first-time viewers, we're tickled pink. And purple, because purple is the color. We are tickled pink that you're joining us. We hope that you too can take away a nugget from our time together. And if you have any suggestions, questions, or comments, don't hesitate to let us know. So without further ado, grab your knitting, your favorite note-taking device, and you'll obviously need a sense of humor for episode 26. Take it away, Dawn.
Okay, when you said nugget, I must be hungry because I was thinking of chicken nuggets.
I'm surprised you weren't thinking of a diamond, but that's all right.
That would be better yet, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, it would.
All right, what is around your neck?
Well, I today am wearing, Dawn, the Geology Shawl, and it is a pattern from Very Busy Monkey. You will see that it has layers of texture, just like any geographical area would if you did that transection of the earth. I knit mine in Sweet Fiber Yarns, Sweet Merino Lite yarn in the Sand Harbor colorway, and I knit it on a size 6. But I have to tell you, it probably earned a strong 3, if not a $4 sign on the frugalometer for fiber. And it earned a $1 sign on the frugalometer for the pattern.
Oh, very nice.
And for some reason, wasn't this a knit-along?
I think it was part of the first Mystery Mania that we did at Meg Pye's cottage.
Yeah, I think you're right. So it's small, as you can see, for someone my size, and it's draped over me because of my perpetual summer, personal summer. So, Dawn.
It's spreading today because I'm having one too. Yeah, my cheeks are flushed. This is the Helen scarf. It is by Knits with Penguins Designs. And I got this yarn at Stephen B's when I was over there in the fall. And you're going to have to help me, Penny, with the...
I think it's...
Is it Pinnacle sock?
Well, I think, yeah. It is the Pinnacle sock in the zebra colorway.
Yeah. I think the pattern is free, so that gets a $1 on the frugalometer. And I'm not sure about the yarn, probably a 3 if I had to guess. And it is super duper long. And it is a brainless knit. If you have a skein, you just knit till you like it. I use the entire skein, but it's got to go 100 inches.
Oh,
I mean, it is just long and longer. So it's nice. It gives you lots of different ways. It also makes me realize I don't have very many summer like scarves or shawls. And so it's just an easy one to throw on. And of course, with black and white, you can't go wrong. So
yeah, and it looks very stunning on you.
Yeah. And what is Miss Opal sporting?
Oh, Miss Opal is sporting my very first cardigan that I knit from Knitting Pure and Simple. And I just want to tell the viewers that during our August knit-along, virtual knit-along, or knit night, I should say, this particular pattern company was mentioned. So this was my very first neck-down cardigan. I knit it in Cascade, Plymouth Encore. And if I can be honest and transparent, the buttons probably cost more than the yarn. But I love those silver heart buttons. So
I do too.
And that's the truth, boy. The accessories and accoutrements can be more costly than our yarn. So anyway, it is every bit of 15 years old, and I still wear it.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah. What about Ruby? I see she's sporting something pretty elegant
Right.
today.
I think this might have been part of that mystery mania too. It is called Rosewater. It's by Janine Kallio.
Mm-hmm. Maybe Kallio?
Kallio, I bet that's it. It is in the Deep Purple Passion colorway.
Ooh, 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 ooh.
And you can see obviously lace. It is a shawlette. So for me, it's like a bib.
That's long gone. You must
Yeah,
have stretched the bejeepers out of that.
I did.
Okay.
So I would say on the frugalometer, it's probably a 3 for the pattern and a 3 for the yarn. It is Juniper Moons Herriot Fine, I think.
Mm.
And beautiful yarn.
Yes. Oh,
But
here's,
on me, that just does not, I need more right here.
oh,
So
okay.
that may be a good gift to give somebody. I'll tell you
Absolutely.
that yarn is delightful. I would use Juniper. I like Juniper Moons.
Do you?
So is it Juniper Farm, Juniper
I think
Moon?
it's Juniper Farm Moon because
Okay.
that's what I'm using on my Strange Brew sweater.
Oh, okay.
But I'm using their single Aran weight or worsted weight for that. Hmm.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Anything off your needles?
No, not this week. But I want to see what's off your needle.
Yep, I got one of the shawls done.
Oh,
So
oh.
this is the Advent Stole 2016 by Brigit Kok. It was a class I'm taking at Silver Thimble in Green Bay, Wisconsin. It is knit with Legato Sulka silk. Yeah,
And that geranium colorway.
yeah, and it's kind of a fuchsia. I think that's kind of hard to see because it's so see-through. You can see how aggressively I blocked it. I mean, that's pretty. Um, so even aggressively blocked, 70 inches long, which for me is a tad on the short side. But yeah, you can see it, the laces, yeah. So I like it maybe 17, 18 inches wide. The beads are what they call the interludes, which separate the different sections. She does it every year. This was the first year she did it in 2016, so I'm sure she'll come out with one this year. So it is off the needles, severely stretched. Yeah, I like it.
Just for the record, your sound is good because we can hear it squealing all the way from here. The fiber's going, ah!
Who somebody said once that was a form of yarn torture. Um, yeah, so I like it.
Oh, Dawn, it's beautiful.
And I kind of like little sections of new stitches for me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, good learning experience. Taught by Miss Tina. I'm telling you, there's somebody doing it in a turquoise, a burgundy, a white. Gosh, each one is as spectacular as the next. And of course, it's the white one that has us all just amazed. So that's when we decided we all need a white shawl or a wrap. So I've got to put one of those in the future.
Oh, so you
I,
haven't chosen one yet?
I haven't, but I think I'd like an all black one too. But that too is a form of torture in the knitting world because it need either I have to do it first thing in the morning with bright brain and bright sun
Mm-hmm. I
because
like
black is tough to knit on for me. So I love it, but it's tough.
Well,
So
and I
that's
shared before, one way to knit with black is to put like a white pillowcase underneath you so that you have some contrast.
absolutely, I love that. And of course, I have my Lite directly over me. And then do not use dark needles.
Yeah, someone we know may have done
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
You are too funny. So, what you working on right there? I can see your hands moving.
Well, I am still working on my alliteration scarf. This is the more muted colors. I was telling Dawn earlier, this week has been a week where this is just what I've needed. It's just a simple stockinette, and I'm knitting round and around. And it's a pattern by Teresa Chavez. It's all of my, not just my sock yarn scraps, but Dawn's sock yarn scraps as well. So I'm just working on that right now. What about you? What's on your needles right
Well,
there that you're...
I finally cast on some brainless knitting because my forward progress was being halted by all the mistakes I was making. This is the Twistmas hat. Let's see if I have the pattern. It's by Espas Tricot. I don't know if that's the right way to pronounce it. It's a free pattern.
Withholding. Oh, Dawn.
So they do it in the one color, but also in the pattern, it shows you how to do a 4-color gradient if you want to. And so you'll love these colors, Penny, because they're right up your alley. Okay.
Let me see. Oh, gosh.
I got you 3 skeins for Christmas. Be surprised. So my husband's daughter gave me this, and I'm telling you, it's Madeline Tosh Lite in the Fiesta colorway. It is bright, no matter how you look at it. So this pattern calls for 2 skeins of fingering, or 2 strands of fingering, and a strand of mohair. So I pulled from each end.
Oh.
Even with the mohair, it was bright enough to light up Lambeau Field. I mean, it was bright. So then I tore that out, and then I took a strand of this, and then I took a strand of the fuchsia that you just gave me from Lorna's Laces.
Yeah.
Okay. It was still bright, like maybe not quite as bright. So I still had this yarn left over from my Anchor's hat.
Look at you, Dawn.
I did that, and then it's just white mohair, and it toned it down.
Yes, it did.
Now, it's still bright on your bright meter, I suppose. But
well, you know, I think there is a time for bright, bold, and brassy colors.
Yeah.
I just don't like to stand out, which is why I tend to use more muted colors. That's the only reason why.
And more muted colors make sense. They go with more things. This, who knows? But now, last week I asked the question, pink pom-pom or white pom-pom? It was a 50-50 split.
Was it really?
So I'm going to do this one and then bring both hats back and see. Yeah, so I'm just going to keep trying it. I'm in no hurry to give them as gifts right now, so I will keep working until I decide which pom-pom for what hat. So obviously free pattern. I love that on the frugalometer. Let's see, Madeline Tosh and Hedgehog Fiber. It's going to go 3 or 4 on the frugalometer. So
yeah, I have to tell you, I appreciate how you worked through the combinations.
Yeah, and you know what? It's a pain in the butt to tear out mohair.
I know.
So at one point, I'd only had like 2 or 3 rows on. I just cut it and started over because that mohair starts to knot up the more you tear it out.
And I think it weakens the fiber as well.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised. And this is, I had 2 partial skeins of Ella Ray. I have no idea how much. I didn't even weigh it before I started. So I'm going to assume the yardage will be the same as the yardage I use. So I can't wait to see how many hats I can get out of this one skein. I think this was called Cheeky or something.
Oh, that's the perfect name. Yeah. So being really cheeky and frugal, I could squeeze 4 hats. I mean, that would be a fun little challenge. Not that I could, and I'm not going to try that right now, but yeah, that's a great color.
Wasn't there a TV show called Name That Song in 4 Notes or something? Or
Name that tune.
Name how many hats you can get out of a skein of yarn.
That is a hilarious idea.
Now, do you have anything else you're working on?
Yeah, I do. I am still working on the oh my goodness, the eyelet stripe baby jacket. This is in the 12 to 18 month size, so it's larger. But what I've done is I seamed the shoulder seams and started on the sleeves. And the sleeve has a different pattern than the body of the sweater, so I haven't memorized it yet because, of course, I'm knitting in the round. So knitting in the round means that garter looks different. So I have to purl a row. So anyway, I started that earlier in the week, kind of set it aside and hope to finish it this week. I think I've been saying that for 3 weeks in a row, but I am hoping to finish it this week. Yeah, and I'm knitting it in the Supernova colorway of, I'm going to look because it just left my Republic of Wool.
Yeah, that is nice.
Sock weight. You working on anything else?
Well, I did a little bit more on Grand Bazaar. That's a pattern by Melanie Berg. So I didn't get very much. You'll see where my stitch marker is.
I was
But
gonna
I just finished the 19th repeat of 24. So it is long and long and long. So this is a shop model for Silver Thimble in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I'm going to say when I give it to Nan, I just finished my 3rd of 4 skeins. So for some people, I think 3 skeins will be sufficient. Of course,
Oh,
I'm going to like the length for 4, but depending on how you like scarves, yeah. And this is Queensland yarn. It is in the black currant colorway, and it's a purpley gray. And I'm going to block the snot out of this one too. So hopefully, depending on how my week goes, I might have this finished for next week's podcast.
are you going to knit monogamously on that?
No.
Oh, okay.
Why?
Well, no, I'm not trying to introduce a new approach to knitting to you because that just wouldn't suit your personality. But I was just wondering because that, I don't know, 5 repeats? Would it take a week to
Yeah.
complete?
I've been trying to do a half a repeat a day.
Oh, okay.
So I could probably push it a little bit and get it done.
Right.
Because now with the Advent Stole done, I'll have a little bit more time.
That's
So,
true.
yeah.
Very
So
pretty.
that is soon to be off the needles, which means I get to cast something on soon.
Well, may I do 2 quick confessions here? I also cast on the Daddy and Son hat. However, as you can see, it has been frogged numerous times back here with my Mountain Colors yarn because it requires a Judy's Magic cast on. I've been using Michelle Hunter's, Knit Pearl Hunter's video on how to modify that cast on so you don't have any twisted stitches. But this week, at the point it became frustrating, I frogged it again and just set it aside. So it was on my needles in theory last week. It's off my needles.
Multiple times, yes.
Yeah, well.
We should be able to count the yardage 3 times for that then, don't you think?
Well, I think you've said it before. And I just have a quick shout out. I am doing a knit along with Zeistis. That is her name on Ravelry. Her name's Miss Ann. She and I are doing the camaraderie hat, and I am casting that on today. That was our official agreement to start that little private knit along, I guess, this weekend. So I am using Lion Hometown super bulky yarn. Someone gave this to me. I have no idea, but I'm going to use that and cast it on this evening. That's usually when I do my cast-ons on Saturday, is in the evening.
What a fun little private knit along.
Oh, I have another one in the works, by the way. Well,
I have FOMO, right?
I was going to say, well, Dawn, how many knit alongs are you involved in right now?
I know, not too many. So thank you for not inviting me. Speaking of knit alongs, you guys, I love. So this is Festival of Stitches by Lisa Hannes.
You started on the other side.
So what's that?
You started on the other side.
I did. So triangle, clue 1. It wasn't Mr. Knit-along. And again, there was clue 2. And that red is that red, if that makes any sense.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, love that lace pattern. And so I've started the same. Now I got the red done, and I only have 2 rows into the mosaic. Yeah, it is just delightful. Now, the mosaic will be opposite of this.
Okay.
So I can't wait to see that comparison. So, and then it goes up to clue 6. So I have a long way to go. But I am loving, it is Ba yarn in the La Jolla base. And the red is black cherries. And then the white and black, I think, are just pearl and black pearl. Or something close to that. There in my show notes. Gosh, delightful. It's a paid for pattern on Ravelry. I'm going to guess I'd give that about $2 or $3 signs. And it's Ba yarn. I'd have to go probably 4.
Okay.
On the frugalometer. Oh, man.
If I were you, I would guard that carefully.
Oh,
That Midnight in Berlin. I'm just saying someone might be tempted to walk off with those two.
I know, and it's got me fired up on mosaic knitting again. I'm gonna have to do some more. So yeah. And then I did agree to another knit along with a friend in Green Bay to do the Andrea Mowry. Oh, you know what? It's on my hope wall back here. I don't know if you can see it behind my shoulder. That's
Tell us
kind of some.
about your hope wall.
I just put patterns up there that I'm thinking about. It sure doesn't mean I'm going to knit them, but they're there to tease me. Because if I can keep looking at them, I'll either decide, no, not for me, or yeah, I want to do it. So it's the one smack dab in the middle. It's a color work cowl, knit as a long tube in the round, and then you put the Mobius twist in it when you. So I'm not very good at color work. To be honest, I did cast it on about 3 times like you. I can't get my tension right when I try to hold yarn in each hand. And I want to learn to do color work by holding yarn in each hand. So I'll bring it next week if I get enough for you to see more than the cast on edge. But that is a knit along that I think is running for about a month, maybe. And I think we're 2 weeks in, so there's no way I'm going to be able to keep up with that either. But I want to finish these other projects first.
Did I miss who you were doing that knit along with?
Oh, Miss Kathy's just a friend here in Green Bay, but the knit along is being hosted by Firefly. Is it Firefly Yarns, Firefly Fibers? That's a little yarn store in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin, which is like between Madison and us. So obviously it's a Zoom knit along. So we did sign up to do a Zoom session next week with everybody. But yeah, I'll bring the yarns next time. Exquisite yarns Kathy picked out. So
I can't wait to see this.
So that's kind of what's on and off my needles and kind of what I hope to get on them soon.
Well, I think you've alluded to this a couple of times, but what have you been learning this week?
Well, I called it stop, drop, and roll. Not that we're going to do a practice fire drill here on the podcast or anything, but I love that concept of stop, drop, and roll. So when I apply it to my knitting, stop is I'm going to stop and make sure what I'm doing is reasonable to right now. I can give myself some expectations that aren't realistic when I'm in a transition. So I'm transitioning from summer break to the school year, and I still want to knit as much as I did in the summer, and it's just not possible. So I've got to get that in my head because, I have this little Microsoft Excel document that I put on how much I want to knit every day. I didn't change it from summer to fall, and I need to because I'm setting myself up to be disappointed if I don't knit as much as in my head I think I can. So yeah, so as far as a stop, drop, and roll, that was the stop. And then every once in a while, I just have to drop these unrealistic expectations. They are just not realistic. And so let's just pause, take a deep breath, and readjust. And that's kind of the roll. I'm going to roll with my new schedule. It is what it is. I can make it work. But it's when the two worlds collide that now I start to feel almost this self-imposed pressure of you're not knitting enough. And I'm knitting as much as my time allows, and I enjoy every project I'm on, but I don't want to get rushed. I want to enjoy the process. And so remind me, I'll go through this every fall, right? When I have to make the transition from, and then, the older I get, that transition's a little rougher. So I fell asleep really early last night. And I know it'll just take a couple of weeks and I'll adjust to that too, but I enjoy it all. So just stop and enjoy it. Yeah. What are you learning?
Well, I'm just going to make one comment to what you said. Not only is it brilliant, but both of us tend to be journey people and not destination people. And I think when we try to be a destination person, such as meeting all those goals and expectations, it takes the fun out of the journey. We race through the journey and we miss all the nuances and dimensions of that journey which are really the things that give us fulfillment, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, and I think similarly, what I am learning this week, I'm going to give an analogy. You know, I think in our life, most of us will end up with 1, 2, possibly 3 very close friends. Friends who know us inside and out. They can read our body language. They can read our tone of voice. They know when it's a good time to be chatty and when it's a good time to just be in one another's presence. And this week, I'm not trying to personify my knitting, but this week, that's what my knitting has been to me. When I come home and I am exhausted, I don't want to have to chat. My knitting has just allowed me to sit, and this simple stockinette has been what I've needed to just wind down. I'm not wrestling with stitches. I'm not wrestling with techniques. I chose a pattern who could be like an old friend and just let me enjoy.
Yeah.
And so that's what I learned this week, which is why I frogged the cast on and said, whoa, it's like a friend not understanding that this is not the time to do this. I can't have an intense conversation or a deep I don't have the bandwidth, the
Right.
mental capacity to do that.
Yeah.
And doing exactly what you said, rolling with it, embracing it, not feeling like I have to justify it, not feeling like I'm not meeting someone's, including my own expectations. And so, yeah, that's what I've learned this week.
You know, that reminds me of that old church hymn, "It is well with my soul."
Yeah.
If I can sit there and it's just me and my yarn, it is well with my soul, which means I'm probably a little easier to get along with too.
I'm sure my husband would agree. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the old snarky factor.
Right.
Hey, I think we should give a shout out to Miss Brittany. One of our viewers sent Penny and I a pattern this week in Ravelry, which was beyond gracious. So thank you. Also, thank you to those who let us know that you were expecting prizes and we didn't mail them out. So they have all been mailed and I think now all been received.
Well, we just have the latest one, Miss Sandy. And by the way, she does live in Canada. So she's mine. Yes. So
did she get a hold of you?
She did.
Oh, wow, good. Because, yeah, so, and she was our last comment on
YouTube. But she's also on Ravelry. So thank you, Miss Sandy. As I said in my email, I hope to get that mailed out this week. My schedule is a little bit more flexible, so I'll do that. And thanks so much for getting back in touch with us.
Yeah, and then later today, I'm meeting another one of our viewers who lives down on the Wisconsin-Illinois border, and we're going to meet at Magpie's Cottage and knit for a couple hours. So I'll have to report back on that next week. And then when is our next Zoom virtual knit along?
It's going to be September 12th from 7 to 9 Central Standard Time. So that's always a Saturday evening. I'll just remind everyone that we post the Zoom sign-in, which is new every month. We'll post that about an hour before the actual knit night begins. So keep your eyes open for that. And I have to ask our viewers to forgive us. We were going to choose another Finish, Fix, or Frog It winner during episode 26. But I was exhausted last night and asked if we could just not have our knit along with the aunties night, so we did not have Nikki choose that. So we will choose that winner during episode 27 and then make sure we announce it next week.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah. And that leads me to, Dawn, what would Nikki say?
She would say, look both ways before you cross the street.
Of course she would.
Or would it be look both ways before you cross the fairway?
Oh,
I don't know what a fairway is, but I know it has something to do with golf. And that just reminds us, when I think of look both ways, Nikki always wants us to encourage viewers to like and subscribe down below on YouTube. But also, you guys, we love your comments. So if there are things like several people commented last week that my sound was wonky again. And so that's why I went back to the headset. That is hard for us to hear when we are podcasting. I only hear it during editing, and then we're too lazy to re-record. So yeah, so anything like that, and please continue to put finish, fix, or frogget projects in our discussion board. I am telling you, there are some shawls this week that will knock your socks off. Oh man, unbelievable. So I get pumped up when I look at patterns I've seen before that I've liked, but I see them in whole new colorways. And you guys need to look. There's a sugar pop in our finish, fix, or frogget that will just knock your socks off. So that's a figure of speech, right? Okay, knock your socks
because it's a shawl. It would only knock your socks off if it was a pair of socks.
Or if I dropped it and tripped over it. Yeah, so I think, sis, that's it, huh, for this week?
May I just have one quick shout out? Miss Beth, thank you for the frugal tip on how to cast on from both ends of a cake of yarn. I am going to give that a try. I always appreciate more frugal tips. So I just wanted to thank you, darling.
How have I been knitting this long and I have never heard of that for the long tail cast on?
I have never heard of it either. Never.
Wow, and that is brilliant.
It is. It is. And I just appreciate those types of tips. And I think all of the rest of us do as well, because you certainly can't know everything. So it's great to have a venue where you can share those thoughts and ideas.
Or maybe when I heard it before, I just wasn't in that space, where I wasn't doing anything that it pertained to. So it was kind of easy in, easy out. So, yeah, okay. Perfect. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Well, as you said, I think that wraps it up for this week. We're already looking forward to seeing you in episode 27. So until then, please, we hope that your week is a sweet twist of the frivolous and frugal. Have a great week. See you for episode 27.